Hi, welcome to RIBESE'S Musings, where reality meets authenticity.
Hi, welcome to RIBESE'S Musings, where reality meets authenticity. This is a space where we talk about life, talk about it honestly and authentically. My name is Ribese and I am your host. So primarily this channel exists to amplify conversations around slum living, and the people of the slums. And by extension, because it can be it's so easy to lose people because they would think like I'm not from a slum. It also just by extension exists to talk to target people who feel like or know themselves to have come from disadvantaged backgrounds, who feel like maybe life has dealt them a hard blow, and that's why maybe they are lagging behind in one way or another. So that is the reason why this channel exists. And I think I've not said this in previous episodes, but as a person, I consider myself as an encourager because I realize that there's a lot of discouragement going on, and also I'm also a product of encouragement. I have gotten to the place where I am because somebody somewhere encouraged me, somebody somewhere said a word that lifted my spirit, and therefore I always feel like I want to just be a voice of encouragement, a voice of hope, a voice of reason, even to those who feel like they are discouraged, they are stuck, they are not sure what to do with their life. And also really that's why I even thought like I need to target people from slums and disadvantaged communities. Why this category of people? It's because I am a person who was literally born, bred and raised in the slum, and I have had to go through all the challenges, all the experiences that people from the slums go through, but somehow by the grace of God, I made it out of it. And for a very long time, I felt like my environment, my upbringing had a big bearing on the person that I was becoming then, and therefore I feel like much as I am out of it, and of course I am thriving, or I am pursuing the purposes for which God has created me to pursue, I know there are so many people who are in the same situation that I was, and who would benefit from a word of encouragement, would benefit from a perspective shift, would benefit from insights that they rarely get. And that is really why this platform exists. And therefore, I would like to, first of all, thank you. If this is not your first time coming on board, if you have been following my content, if you have been interacting with it in one or another, I appreciate the likes, I appreciate the subscriptions, but also I would like to welcome you if this is your first time on RIBESE'S Musings. I would like to say thank you so much for joining and for just tagging and trying to see what I'm doing, and also to ask you that to consider subscribing and liking my content, because here we say we are a community of transformed people. My previous episodes have been quite deep and reflective, and also informative, where I have been delving on issues around the people of the slums, how they behave the way they behave because sometimes of stereotypes, because of their environments, And I even talked about the most recent one. I was talking about dreams, how people of the slums or people from disadvantaged communities, their only lifeline that they have is the dreams that they have, the dreams of a better tomorrow, the dreams of a better future, the dreams of emancipation. So that is really the angle or the discussion that I've been having. But today I also just want to bring our attention to a subject that I feel is very important, a subject that I feel is worth talking about. And the subject is about what happens when one begins to change. What happens when someone begins to live their dream or begin to actualize their dream? How does it look like? And especially for somebody who is trying to come out from a place that feels like they're stuck in it, what do these dreams look like? So that is our discussion for today, and I hope that you will find something that will be of benefit to you. So welcome. I'll give a personal example on just myself, how I think I can apply this subject of change or subject of taking intentional steps towards something. I can just say even how I thought about starting my channel. And of course, because I am convinced that I am an encourager, I'm convinced that I've come from a difficult place and somebody could benefit from my perspective. I did not just sit on my dream. I did not just sit on my idea. I decided that I am going to take a positive step, because I knew that it is when you have an idea and a dream and you don't act on it, that is how you find yourself it just disappears. And then with time you realize, you start saying, hey, I had an idea, I wish I pursued it, So that's what it means. If you have an idea, like even how I wrote my book, it started as an idea that you can help someone with your book, or you can tell your story through a book. Then I was like, why not give it a try? And the truth of the matter is that it is not always easy to start something or to pursue a dream or to decide to change because comfort is always the go-to place for everyone. We always don't want to move from our comfort zones. We don't want to try out new things because of the uncertainty that is there. But the truth of the matter is, if you are somebody who is coming from a very difficult place and you want to move to a different or a better place, you have no option but to change. You have no option but to take a step towards where you are looking at. If you don't do that, change will change you. You will start realizing you're becoming outdated. You are not relevant. You are not. You are not marketable. You're just there. You're miserable, literally, and frustrated because maybe you had an idea to do something to change your situation, but you didn't. So there is no shortcut about it. There is no two-way. It's just important to acting on what you feel like you need to act on to achieve where you want to go. So as I have just alluded, is that we are trying to talk about how change looks like, especially when somebody is attempting to change from a slum, from a very needy background, because of course I'm coming to appreciate that it's really not only slums. Sometimes people are not living in slums, but they are in very needy situations or just disadvantaged situations. And one of the biggest misconceptions about change is that change has to be big. change has to kind of announce itself, or change has to, it has to make a statement. But the truth of the matter is that for many who have actually experienced transformation and change over time, you can attest, or they can attest, that change starts small. Change starts with a decision, a decision that enough is enough of where I am right now. Enough is enough of feeling worried for myself or pity partying for myself. It's time to act, So that idea of change has to be like, I have to move from Kibera, which is the biggest slum in Kenya, or just think of a place. I have to move from here to there, let's say Karen or wherever that people consider to be big neighborhoods. Like, it's not instant. We are in an instantaneous generation, or in an instantaneous season, or where things are like tap, tap, tap. But when it comes to change, especially when you are dealing with changing your background, changing your roots, changing your mind, changing your belief system, learning and relearning and unlearning, it does not come big. It's not pronounced. It is gradual, and it starts with a decision. The way they say, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. That is really what, for me, I am appreciating that change looks like. It is about making a decisive decision, or taking a decisive step and following it through. For instance, maybe it is just deciding that from today I'll be showering every day. Well, I'm using that example because I know sometimes when people are coming from those places, showering is not a priority, Or from today, I will begin waking up earlier than I'm used to. From today, I am choosing a better friendship. I'm choosing better friends because, again, we know that there's a lot of negative peer pressure around slum communities. Deciding that I am going to keep a better company. I am cutting off, not in the sense that we know, but I am cutting off things that are not helping me to move forward. I am going to finish school because I've experienced also that because of the hopelessness that goes on in these places, people don't think education is something worth pursuing to the end, or just saying no to certain influences, or even just deciding that I will apply for a role that I feel like I am qualified for, because again, there is also that notion that it's not easy to get a job. You cannot, if you don't have somebody holding your hand. So change starts with making small positive steps and staying at them, no matter how insignificant they would look. One, just deciding that no, I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep at it. I'm going to do what I've always desired to do. I'm going to start praying. I'm going to start reading a book. I'm going to start tidying up. I'm going to start interacting with the right people. So really, that's how change starts. Yeah. Like for that episode on dreams, one of the things that came out very clearly is that it is one thing to have a dream, but the main thing is not about having a dream of how you want to drive a car one day. It's not about having a dream on how to live in a better neighborhood. It's not enough to have that. What is more important is taking intentional positive steps towards achieving that dream. And that those intentional steps are what you are calling change. That is, it is like you have to begin by changing yourself, changing your perspectives, changing the way you think, changing how you look at people, changing how you look at situations. Then now you're able to say that I am now moving towards my dream. Need I talk about one of the biggest reasons that make people, whether you're coming from a slum, whether you're coming from a disadvantaged place, whether you're coming whatever, the biggest thing that makes us decide, I have an idea, but let it just remain as an idea, it's fear. Fear. Fear is a monster, literally, because it is real and it can actually just overwhelm you. When you're coming from those places that I'm talking about, one of the biggest fears is you fear failing. What if I start and I fail? What if I disappoint my parents or my family? What if people laugh at me? What if it's such a big dream? What if it's just I'm just being overly ambitious? There are always so many kinds of fears that will come at you that are even coming at me right now. When you purpose to change or to take a positive step towards a bigger or a better thing that you're looking at. And so if you are in a place where you are, yes, you have an idea, you want to change, you want to experience better, you have a big dream, but you have a fear of telling you you're inadequate, fear telling you can never amount to anything, fear telling you you will embarrass yourself. It's real, and it's ask anyone and they'll tell you they have gone through fear, they have gone through anxiety, they have literally had to fight it. So if you are to make any change, any positive change, because sometimes even it can be as simple as decluttering, because when your house is too cluttered or when your space is too cluttered, you are not able to, never mind, my earring fell off. While I was speaking. Because sometimes you need clarity and your space is not giving you that clarity. Fear will tell you there's no point. Like, fear manifests in so many ways. So it's up to you to fight that fear and decide, despite of whatever fear I am facing, I will pursue the change that I am looking at pursuing. And I'll also tell you the truth that when you are in a space that you feel like you're all alone, you're in a hole, somebody always says, or there's a thing that says, you're between the rock and the hard place, there is always something that keeps you going, keeps me going, and that is hope. The hope for a better tomorrow. And me, as a believer, there's a verse in the Bible that says that hope never fails, hope never disappoints. And so when you are in a space where you need to change, never give up hope. Never give up hope. Hope of what you are anticipating. Even if it looks like a small vision, it looks like untenable, as long as you're hopeful. What example can I give that is very practical to people who are, okay, maybe you're coming from maybe a dysfunctional family because of course, influenced by your surrounding. Maybe your parents are abusive, maybe you have abusive neighbors. There are so many things that we just want to come out from. And you're hoping when I am better established, or when I am slightly older, I want to run. I will have a more stable and a more functional family. That is a hope. That is a vision that you have. And don't, despite of how difficult whatever you are going through looks like, don't give up hope. Don't give up the imagination. Don't let that dream go, that dream that tells you keep at it, keep at it, keep at it. Don't let it go. Because if you let it go, discouragement will fill that space, discouragement will fill that place. Voices, fear will cloud your mind, and then you will start saying, you will actually go back to the first step where you're like, maybe I was condemned to this. So hope and imagination play a very big role when it comes to us changing, when it comes to us moving from one place of discouragement to another. Literally, the physical moving, it's like the last thing, the place where you now say, hey, now I'm able to move out. But it has to come from within you. It has to come from a place of, I know it's bad, but it will get better. I'll not give up on my imagination. I'll not give up on my hope for a better outcome. I know I deserve better. I know I have great potential. I know the world is mine for the taking. So don't give up your imagination and your hope, regardless of what your surrounding looks like. I would also like to maybe just let you know, in case maybe you don't know or you've never thought about it. The truth about change is that you will never rise alone. Even if you are determined to change how, you will never rise alone. There's always, we always need other people around us to help us change. And the fact is that change can come from any quarter. It can be a word of encouragement. It can come from a teacher. Maybe there's a teacher who taught you and they said something that sparked something in your head. It can come from a church leader. It can come from a neighbor. It can obviously come from your parents, because our parents keep encouraging us, especially if they know we are really struggling, or that is the order of the day, the struggle. Change can even come from a stranger. Change comes from positive influence that pushes us to change comes from very different quarters. So the thing is this: you need to be somebody who is fully alert. Don't take, when you're in this place of desiring change, of desiring a better life outcome, you need to be a person who appreciates every form of encouragement that comes your way, because sometimes you can be very discouraged and only a word can push you to the next step. Only a word, or only an encouragement, or even a gesture. Somebody, maybe you were hungry, somebody gave you something to eat, those things. So just to remind you that, or to reiterate the fact that change is not possible alone. So if you are somebody who is looking to change, or who is looking to move from one disadvantaged situation, you need to be close to people. You need to be somebody who is willing to talk to people, to listen to people. You need, and well, as I speak this, I'm not just directing it to you, my viewer. I'm telling myself, because there's always change to look out for. There's always something better to look out for. And we are not, no man is an island, as they say. So look out for people. Look out for good people. Look out for wise counsel. Look out for mentorship. Look out for words of encouragement. And that's why we're even sometimes encouraged, like even on the internet, who are you following? Are you just following people who are entertaining you and making you feel nice and making you laugh? Or are you following people who are challenging you to take positive steps towards where you are thinking or desiring to go? So positive change is a function of collaboration. It is a function of partnership. So if you are somebody who is desirous of change, if you're somebody who is desirous of better, you cannot do it alone. I cannot do it alone. You cannot do it alone. Therefore, let's be people, a people's person or people's people, so that we are able to achieve the positive change that we are desiring to achieve. So as I wind up, I began by saying that a change or positive change or a change towards something better from what you know, it starts small, but it has to be very intentional, that I am moving this direction, I am stopping this direction, I have this addiction, but I am going to take positive steps towards stopping that addiction. And of course, there is help everywhere for the different struggles that we go through. But the most monumental thing is that moment when you make that decision that enough is enough. I am ready. I will do whatever it takes. I am not sitting here anymore, So that is the moment where change starts. And that is the moment where we all need to look out for in the different areas where we are desiring change for. If you are desiring to go back to school, the moment you say enough is enough, I'm going to get my admission letter. Or if you had stopped school somewhere because you thought school it's not making sense, you make the decision enough is enough. I'm going to finish my paperwork. I'm going to begin that business. I'm going to write that proposal. Whatever you need to do, especially if you know that your whole life depends on it. If you know that your whole life depends on that decision, you have to get to that moment and say, enough is enough. And as always, as I finish, I just want to encourage you who is watching, and maybe you feel like, yes, I want to change, but I feel like I don't have enough strength. I feel like I don't have enough encouragement. I know I need to change, but I just don't feel ready. I just want to tell you that you can never be 100% ready. You don't need to have all the money in this world to change. You don't need a perfect condition to start. You don't need to be pushed by people to start that journey of change that you are looking out for. And you also don't need a perfect plan. Just start with where you are, and let me tell you, you will thank yourself. You will thank yourself that you actually conquered yourself and started a journey towards a positive change. My heart goes out to you who is maybe really discouraged. If you're really I wish you are making sense to me right now. My heart goes out to you. Just tell you it gets better with time. But whatever you feel like you want to change, please take a positive step. Even if it's just standing from that seat and taking 2 steps ahead, or making that phone call that you have been needing to call for a very long time. And within no time, you will realize that it was a good idea for you to do that which you needed to do to move to the step that you need to be at. Yeah, so that's a wrap for me for this episode. Thank you if this content has been impactful to you, or it has spoken to you. I welcome you to engage with me on the comment section. Tell me what did change look like to you? What did change look like to you? And whatever steps you took, did they materialize? Did they yield any positive outcome? Well, guys, thank you so much for holding space for me for this conversation. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.